Hello, everyone. It is day 4. Day 3 of being in the cop, but day 4 in general. That's really wild. Cannot believe it has gone by that fast. But yeah, here I am reporting on the day. Let's see. What did I do first? Breakfast club, because that's what we do first every day. And this morning we just talked a lot more about what we did the day before. That's really what Breakfast Club is. We just talk about what we did the day before. So that was fun. And then after Breakfast Club, we went to cop because that's what we do every day. And so today when I got to cop, my only real plan was to go see Xinyu's panel because Xinyu hosted a panel today. Well, actually, no, it wasn't a panel. Sorry. It was a discussion. Yeah, so that was at 2:00 and we got to the cop at around 10 or so. So the first thing I did was walk around with Natalie a little bit. We ended up going, to see the, press conference that the IPCC was doing. So that was very interesting. It was nice to go hear the questions that were being asked and sort of be in that room with like the heads of the IPCC. That was really cool, which for anyone who doesn't know, IPCC stands for Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. So it's just a bunch of scientists talking about climate change who are from different countries. So yeah, we went to see that, which was very cool. And then afterwards we got out and we were both absolutely exhausted. Today has been the day of exhaustion, I must say. Everything has been sort of hitting, 'cause also I did some homework last night and everything, and that ended up taking a while longer than I was expecting, and we also had our blogs to write, which I haven't actually handed that in yet, but it's okay. I wrote it. I just have to write the title and then hand it in, which I will do right after I finish filming this video. But yeah, so we had to write our blogs yesterday, and I had a bunch of homework to do, so stayed up a little later than I would have liked to yesterday, but that's all right, because today is a new day to go to sleep early. Yeah, I said that yesterday and the day before, but hopefully it works today. So yeah, after we hung out and like just sat for a little while and like calmed down, we went over to the Korea Pavilion, and they had a very cool panel on, it's called DEFF, I believe. No, wait, it's something better than that. I'm actually gonna find this pamphlet on it because it was really cool and I want to actually say what it is. But it was very cool because I was actually sitting next to, the head of the Korea delegation, like, to cop, which was very cool. I sat in the front row because there weren't very many seats left in general, so everyone was like staying away from the front row because you know how everyone always stays away from the front row. So I just went up there and sat there. Here it is. I found it. Red. REDD plus. So basically what red is it's about reducing, so it stands for reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation. So it's basically about stopping deforestation, and trying to keep our forests alive, which I'm obviously interested in as a sustainable forest management concentration in the natural resources major. So I really enjoyed seeing that and hearing about implementation, because one of the problems that they've talked about with it is people have brought up that it might be bad for local communities, but today what the lady who was presenting said was that they've done studies on it, and it's actually they haven't found, like they've studied purposefully whether or not it's harmful for local communities, and they've found that it's not true. Like, it's a baseless accusation, I guess, although it's not really an accusation, it's just sort of speculation. But yeah, so that was a very cool panel, and I sat next to some pretty important people, which is wild. But yeah, so that happened, and after we finished with that, we walked over to where Xinyu's panel was going, or not panel, discussion was going to be, because we wanted to participate in that. And to be honest, I think that Xinyu's discussion is one of the things that I was expecting to get out of COP. Like, that type of event was something I was expecting, and haven't really had a lot of yet. So I'm really glad I went to it, because it was a lot more reflective and a lot more delving deeper into topics rather than just talking about, like, the cosmetic, like, science that you sort of need to know before you can delve deeper, which I sort of, like, I'm in college for an environmental science, like, major. So I sort of know about the science. I don't need to hear it over and over again. I can move on, I think, to discussing it and discussing implementation strategies. And that's something I think a lot of us have been missing from COP actually so far. So I'm going to start seeking that out, and maybe tomorrow I'll come back and say, hey, I found exactly what I was looking for by seeking it out. But I figured out today that what I really want to see is people implementing change and implementing ideas in order to fix the science, or, like, in order to fix the scenarios that the science is projecting. So mostly I've just seen the projections so far, but hopefully we'll get to some actual solutions, and we'll see that. And that's what red was for me today. So that was good. So then after Xinyu's discussion, which was lovely, we talked about our identities and what that has to do with climate change and why we're here. So that was really wonderful, because I think this year especially, I've been having trouble finding my place in the environmental movement. I'm not really sure where I'm supposed to be yet. And thinking about identity, I think, is very important for me at the current moment, to try and figure out where I belong. But yeah, so Xinyu, if you're watching, thank you. And yeah, so after that, I was with Mara for the rest of the day that I was at the COP, and we went over to the Green Zone, and we just hung out there. There was a round table discussion. I don't know if I would call it round table. It was just a circle of chairs, and we were all talking, and there were indigenous peoples there, and they were it was about food, so they were discussing how food has related to their lives up until this point, and their relationship with the environment. And so that was really wonderful to hear, and it was very interesting. And I that was also one of the more valuable things that I did today, actually, I think. Yeah. So after that, I actually left a little earlier than that discussion ended, because I was like falling asleep through it. I've been very tired today. So Mara stayed for the rest of that, and I left in order to go back to the Blue Zone. And then once I got back to the Blue Zone, I found a group of people who were leaving, and we all went back to the center of Madrid near the hotel. But instead of actually going directly back to the hotel, we went to a Christmas market, which was very nice. It was very pretty, and had lots of beautiful items. And I actually got something, but I can't say what it is because it's sort of a Christmas gift. So but yeah, so very exciting. Yeah, so after the Christmas market, me and Megan walked back to the hotel together, and then I sort of sat in bed, and actually I edited one of the videos that's supposed to come out tonight. Gotta get working on those once I'm finished filming this. but I'm sending my blog in first. But yeah, so after we got back to the hotel, I was working on stuff, and then everyone made plans to go out to dinner, and Natalie dragged me out of bed so that I would go to dinner with everyone. So I went, and then I came back to the hotel after dinner, and here I am. It was a good day. Had a fun time. And I'm sure I'll be inserting a bunch of footage of me and Mara, because we were like vlogging at the COP today for a few minutes. So yeah. So we are currently, we're currently walking into each other, but we're about to walk out of the blue zone because we're headed to the green zone because we're just interested in checking it out because Mara hasn't been there yet.
I heard there's incredible art.
It's wonderful.
I will say that the infrastructure and like the furniture is really cool, but it's lacking a little bit of art. It really is.
Yeah, there's not enough art in this space. It's just a giant warehouse with a bunch of tables and plants in it, and like boxes that are supposed to be rooms. Yeah, and some bikes that have fruit in them sometimes. There's fruit in those at the beginning of the day, and you can take some. Like I have an apple in my backpack from it. We're gonna have to pause the video in a second because we're going through security. So like, see you in a bit. So,
back at it.
Hello, we're back. So we just walked through security. They just scan you out whenever you leave, just so that they know who's in the conference and who's not in the conference. But yeah, we're headed over to the green side. Hopefully it's not raining or like too cold for me to not be wearing a coat, because I'm not wearing a coat. But yeah, here we go. So actually this is a great way to like demonstrate how far it is to get to the green booth from the blue booth, as I sort of talked about in my first blog, which who knows when that'll come out. But yeah, anyways, I still haven't come up with a title, so I still haven't submitted it, but I'm supposed to. It's fine. So what I wanted to sort of talk about today is we were just in an event that Xinyu was leading through this. Do you know what the space was called?
I think he was saying it, but I can't remember. It was funded by German.
Yeah, some sort of German company was funding this space. But basically, this guy who I met at the event, like we had a portion during the event where we were talking with partners, and he ended up being my partner. So it was really interesting talking to him. He was a really cool guy. But anyways, he went to the COP in Bonn, Germany, and he said that he was just really struck by how little basically he was saying like there was very little like humanity, I guess. I don't know how to like or just emotion and
contact and connection with another person.
Yeah, that's it. There was very little connection at the event. Here's the cool. We're really walking outside of the COP, and I'm like focusing on myself. Like look at this cool area. But yeah, so we went to that event in this like connection room, and Xinyu was leading it, so she wanted to bring the focus to I keep doing the thing with the camera.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
I literally always do it because I just drop it. But she wanted to bring a focus to she wanted to bring a focus on the like identity when she's talking about climate change, and so she had us all also talk about our identities and how our identities played a role in the decisions that we made. And we're still walking outside to the green zone, but we're at the green zone entrance. We're getting there. We're on our way. Yeah, so
it's really interesting. I think it's really interesting how the conversation geared towards race identity. I feel like and cultural identity. I think that's been on a lot of people's minds recently, probably. Mm-hmm. So I feel like
I think that's why.
I think that surprised me a lot. But I thought it was really interesting, and I think so specifically race, and it makes sense to talk about the other thing, but nationality as well, since we're here. I know I'm looking at everything from the U.S. lens for some reason.
Yeah.
But it's understandable too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Adios. See you guys tomorrow.